Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated. This is Tom Vandervoort from Sporting News. We're taking a look at this weekend's race at Michigan International Speedway.
Brooklyn, Michigan.
In the Irish Hills. Brooklyn,
I know.
the Irish Hills.
In Michigan. It's crazy.
It's too much.
No Ebbets Field.
Too much. No, that's in the other Brooklyn, or was.
It was.
All right, downforce racetrack. Nothing too terribly complicated about going to Michigan.
Well, it's big, it's wide, it's fast, and the rule here has been over the years, and even with the repave, I think, you know, you can race this thing from the bottom to the top. You can search around to find a line where your car can go best, and that gives you room to maneuver out there, and drivers really, really like it.
Drivers like that because it gives them options, and they feel like it puts the race in their control, because if one line isn't working, they can make the adjustments necessary on the racetrack and don't have to necessarily rely on making those adjustments during a pit stop. But this is also a downforce track. You also have to be aware of track position.
You do, and it's kind of interesting because in theory, you know, you get in that dirty air, and that makes it hard to turn your car, generally tends to pick up a push, and handling just becomes difficult. Now, when the track is wide, when the groove is wide, and you can race all over it, you have some options to get away from the dirty air. But even so, track position still seems to matter at these places because the cars are just so close in speed, I think, that any little advantage, like getting out front, will really help you out. So I think track position does certainly come into play here. And you can't forget about fuel mileage. You know, when you have a big wide track where guys can maneuver, they're a lot better at staying out of trouble as opposed to a short track where you're beating and banging all the time. Yeah. So fuel mileage has come into play here many, many times, and it could come into play this weekend.
Yeah, one of Dale Jr.'s recent wins was a fuel mileage
His
victory.
first win with Hendrick here was early in his career with Hendrick when Tony Jr. made the call. Tony Uri Jr. made the call to stay out. Yeah.
Now, this track is in the backyard of the auto industry. There's a lot riding on this race. A lot of people circle it on their calendars, but it has been a Roush Fenway track traditionally. We're going to come back with Miss Sprint Cup Kim Kuhn to see if we think it's a Roush Fenway track still. All right, everybody, we are back with Miss Sprint Cup Kim Kuhn heading to Michigan, and you will be there in Victory Lane this coming weekend.
I will. Well, Brooke will be in Victory Lane. I've got Victory Lane the next weekend.
Oh, you'll be there.
But I'll be there.
All right.
That's all that matters.
But folks can find you.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
all that matters is the fact that I'm back atop the standings this week. Let's recap.
This is going to be short-lived, though, I have a feeling.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. My Kurt Busch pick was the highest finishing driver amongst those that we picked. So I've got 23 points. Jacqueline picked Jeff Gordon for you guys. So you're right behind me with 22 points. Tom's Brad Keselowski pick did not pan out well. He's a distant third with 18 points.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Sorry.
Hey, how about if you make better picks?
You know,
I mean, at this point, you could just pick out of a hat.
Should we let him go first?
No, you can go first, yeah.
No.
Okay.
All right, Greg Biffle.
I have to be honest with you. I found Michigan a little bit difficult to handicap, but Greg Biffle was on my list. Is that who you're going with?
Yeah, I go with Greg Biffle. He looked good at Pocono.
He's got 3 wins at Michigan.
Got 3 wins at Michigan, which is more than anyone except, I think, Mark Martin. And Bobby Labonte has 3 wins at Michigan.
But don't you feel like the Fords have been a little reluctant to pick up this Gen 6 deal?
Yes, I don't think you can count on the Fords like you used to be able to at Michigan. But if you look at his performance last year and you look at his performance at Pocono and you look at his track record overall, I think it's a good, solid pick. So I'm going with Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle. All right, Kim, you're up.
He was up on my list, but since you took him, I'm going to go with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
He's got 2 wins there, 6 top 5s.
Won this race last year.
Yeah, he won this race last year, breaking his 143 winless streak.
But who's counting?
But who's counting? And he hasn't won since, so I feel like this could be...
Deja vu all over again.
Deja vu.
He's coming off a strong run at Pocono, too, which means he'll have a little bit of...
So I think he's picking back up, because we saw him do really well at the beginning of the season. He did phenomenally, and then he kind of... valleyed a little bit, and I think he's going to pick back up and maybe win this weekend.
You know, there are a lot of interesting drivers here. I've been, I have to admit, reluctant to consider Toyota drivers because TRD did pull back a little bit on the horsepower while they sort of troubleshoot the recent engine failures, and that will probably still be the case at Michigan. So I'm a little reluctant to go with the Toyota, even though Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, even Clint Bowyer is a decent pick at this track. I'm going to stick with the Chevys. I'm going to go Casey Kane.
Yeah.
His only win here was back in the Evernham days, but he's still so strong on downforce tracks. He was 3rd in this race last fall. And while he's had an up and down season, if you look at these downforce tracks, he's been pretty consistent all season on this track type. So I'm going to go with Casey.
Well, there's no doubt this is a Casey Kane style racetrack.
True, but I
So-
feel
Big
like
pass.
when everybody picks Casey, though, I feel like he doesn't win. When of us
That's
picks,
right.
When,
Yes,
any
that
of
was
us
your
pick,
strategy a
when
couple weeks
everybody-
ago.
When any of us pick Casey, he
and
doesn't
it worked.
win.
Didn't it not work?
Yeah.
Didn't he win when we said when you
When we
said
weren't
wasn't
gonna
it
pick
you?
him,
You said
yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
pick him, and he won.
Well, and you didn't pick him this time. So
Okay. All right. So maybe it's just me.
All right. So Dale Jr., Greg Biffle, Casey Kane. Check back next week to see how we all did.